Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Stress-Free MD podcast. I am very excited to share with you my very special guest, my friend, Dr. Parastoo Jangouk. She is here today to share with us some really awesome information. So Dr. Jangouk is from Austin, Texas, and she was dual board certified in gastroenterology and internal medicine. She's a certified life coach, which is where we met at the Life Coach School. She's an entrepreneur and founder of MindGutFitMD. And she has particular interest in gut health, brain-gut interaction, gut microbiome, mental fitness, preventative medicine, and lifestyle medicine. She authored numerous peer-reviewed publications in prestigious medical journals, and she's also the host of the podcast, Let's Clean House, on gut health and mental fitness in Farsi. Welcome, Dr. Jangouk.
Thanks so much for having me, Robin. I'm so excited to be here. I really love your podcast, and I know that you and we share the same interests and we have quite similar values. And I'm really thrilled to be here today with you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I am so excited because you are so knowledgeable with stress and the gut. And a lot of people don't know that there's this very strong connection between our gut health, our gut microbiome. For those of you who are not in the medical field, microbiome meaning all of the organisms that live in our gut, and how it relates to stress. So can you talk to us through your lens about stress and the microbiome?
Yes, for sure. As you said, so stress and our gut is actually becoming a really interesting topic these days, and that's mainly due to the role of gut-brain or brain-gut connection that I'm going to explain to the audience exactly what it is. But to begin with, Robin, because your podcast, is a stress-free MD, and all you do is actually, helping people to live a stress-free life or to be able to manage their stress. I wanted to just start with something that you and I actually probably know, and I didn't know until I became a life coach. And that was the fact that when we talk about stress, we always think that stress is something that happens to us. We think that stress is something outside our life. But very interesting. So after learning more about brain and about everything that's happening in our nervous system, that we learned that stress is actually self-generated. I would like to share with our audience that stress is actually an emotion or a feeling, which is a product of a thought that we had in response to something outside. Somebody said something, somebody did something, and then we instantly had a thought which generated the stress response. So I would like to call those thoughts poopy thoughts.
Poopy thoughts.
Poopy thoughts.
Said the gastroenterologist.
I know, right? What else do you expect from a GI doc, right?
Excellent.
Yeah, so that feeling, emotion, stress, so basically what happens then, it's going to activate a cascade of neuronal signals. So in our stress response, so basically what happens is that our body and our brain has used the stress response, to our benefit during the evolution. And the fact that we are here talking right now is that I would say because of our stress response that works perfectly. And that's how our brain basically saved us from all these different environmental dangers that were out there when we were living in caves, when we didn't really have access to modern life like right now. So our brain basically learned throughout the years to make sure to alert us when there is an imminent danger. So then basically we can react, our body can react to that danger. So when we see, let's say, a lion in the bushes, so we can quickly respond and escape and run away and save our lives. Or when there's dangers from people from other tribes, when they're attacking us. So this is an acute stress response. But the very same thing happens these days when we chronically put our body through stress. So our brain cannot really distinguish between the danger and the source of stress, whether it's, you know, an animal out there, or whether it's you know, the stress that we self-generate with our thoughts. And as you know better, our life, there are a lot of circumstances that happen to us that basically trigger some kind of poopy thought, and then we generate that sense of the stress, and our body is constantly under this stress response. So what happens during the stress response is that our autonomic nervous system becomes activated. And autonomic nervous system is a group of nerves that come from our brain and spine and go to our different organs of our body. And what they do is that they basically control the body functions without really a, you know, conscious input from our, you know, from us. Like they control our heart rate, they control our breathing without really us planning to control our heart rate or breathing. So they have two distinct branches, sympathetic and parasympathetic. Sympathetic nervous system, or fight or flight, I would like to refer to them as fight or flight response, and we know that. And parasympathetic is rest or digest. So what happens in a stress response is that the sympathetic or fight or flight system is getting activated. And that starts with what we know as HPA axis, which is hypothalamus, pituitary, adrenal axis, which starts in our brain. In hypothalamus goes to pituitary gland, and then eventually gets to adrenal glands that are sitting on top of our kidney. And the result is that they produce adrenaline and cortisol, two main hormones of a stress response. And those hormones, what they do basically, they make some changes in our body, and they prepare us for that stress response. Namely, they raise our heart rate, they raise our blood pressure, they increase our breathing, the rate of our breathing, and that's in preparation to put our body in a response that we can escape, we can run away, basically. They get all the blood into the extremity, they divert all the blood out of you know, essential organs like gut, just you name it. So what happens in a stress response is that our gut or our digestive system basically loses a big supply of its blood, because the blood needs to go to our extremity so we can run away and we can just get the heck out of here. So in that, because of this physiologic response that happens, it's very interesting. Three major things happen in gut. So one is that stress is shown that it affects the diversity of our gut microbiome. So diversity is very important for our gut microbiome. Diversity is what our gut microbiome is thriving on. So when the diversity goes down, when we lose a big chunk of our microbes, what happens is that that microbiome is not resilient anymore. So we are more susceptible to a lot of different illnesses, because we know that our gut microbiome actually plays a significant role to keep us healthy. The second thing that happens is that because the blood is taken away from our digestive system to get to our extremities, basically what happens is that our digestive system goes into sort of like what is like a heart attack ischemia, meaning that there is not really enough blood supply, and that can cause some disconnect in between the gut cell, in between the mucosal barrier of our gut. And through that connection, through that leak that is created, so the microbes can get out. So that's what people know these days or refer to as leaky gut. And there is evidence that leaky gut or increasing permeability of the gut the barrier or mucosal barrier plays a significant role in some digestive diseases. And the third one is actually very interesting. And I wanted to share with the audience here that 75% of our immune system is located in our gut. And it's separated from our gut microbiome by a thin layer of cells. So whatever happens to our gut microbiome affects our immune system. Whatever happens to our immune system affects our gut microbiome. And we know that when stress happens, when the blood supply to the gut is compromised, what happens is that our immune system is getting affected. And when immune system is getting affected, then our body is at higher risk for autoimmune diseases, for cancers, for a lot of different diseases.
Wow.
I think, you know, yeah.
Wow. So there is so much going on in the gut, right? You're talking about damage to the microbiome, damage to the mucosa. We're talking about leaky gut. We're talking about decreased immune function, right? Lots of things here, decreased digestion. Yeah, what about serotonin, right? The gut produces a lot of serotonin, right? So that's something else that's really important. Is that affected by stress?
Yes, exactly. So, you know, it's very interesting that the research has shown that 95% of our body's serotonin, which is our happy hormone, is produced in our gut. And that is, as you said, those cells that produce serotonin, again, are very tightly interconnected with our gut microbiome. And anything that basically affects our gut microbiome can affect serotonin. And even just regardless of our gut microbiome, there is, as I said, there is this gut-brain connection. And our gut constantly is communicating with our brain and our brain to our gut. So, and these hormones like serotonin, like norepinephrine, that play a significant role in our nervous system. And they are basically the hormones that are essential in order to help us to keep our mood, not to be very anxious. What happens in a stress response is that they're getting significantly affected through that gut-brain connection.
That is amazing. So thinking a thought can do all of that in your gut. Right? Thinking a poopy thought, as you said, a real medical term. We're using medical terms here, any doctors out there listening. So when we have poopy thoughts, we can disrupt the microbiome, which is all the bacteria. We have good bacteria and bad bacteria. For those of you listening, we want bacteria in our gut, right? So we have bacteria that we want to have there, right? We don't just want the bad stuff there because that's going to take over and do bad things. It can disrupt the mucosa. You're talking about involving the immune response. So we're not able to fight off infections. We can't digest our food, right? There's all kinds of things. We're decreasing our happy hormones. Wow. So lots of things going on with the stress response on overdrive with respect to our gut. Yeah. And people call the gut the second brain, right? They say your gut is your second brain in a lot of ways.
Yes, it is. So basically, our gut has a totally separate autonomic nervous system called enteric nervous system. And that's why we refer to it as the second brain.
Yeah, when you have that gut feeling, right? I mean, there's actually stuff going on that's making you feel that way. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, when you feel an emotion and you feel that in the gut a lot of times, right? It's just because of that gut-brain connection, because of that connection between our brain and the enteric nervous system that sits within the walls of our digestive system.
So we say, go with your gut, right? When you feel something, it's real. Pay attention.
Yeah, very interesting.
Yeah. What about motility? Can you talk about stress and its effect on the motility of the gut? Some people
Mhm.
have, irritable bowel. There's different things that happen with respect to stress, right?
Yes, for sure. What happens in stress response is that basically it affects digestion, right? It's
Hmm.
because of, again, the fact that the blood flow is diverted. So digestion is slowing down.
Hmm.
So it's something that we see quite happens. And that's why, on the other side, the opposite of fight or flight is rest and digest, right? It's that response that parasympathetic nervous system or vagus nerve is responsible for. When our sympathetic nervous system is getting activated, basically our digestion slows down.
Hmm.
But when our parasympathetic nervous system or vagus nerve is activated, that's when digestion is promoted, is facilitated, and we can digest better. So, in order to basically have a healthy digestive system, have a healthy gut, we really need to get out of this perpetual fight or flight response into the rest or digest in order to promote the growth and health of our gut microbiome, in order to improve our immune system, in order to have better hormones such as serotonin, have higher levels of serotonin. And in order to promote digestion, promote motility, we really need to stay away from stress and get to that sort of like state of calm. And that's something that I find very interesting in your work that you do, because you are, just meditation instructor, yoga instructor, and very interesting. I think our audience who are listening to you, they figured by now that the whole purpose of all these tools that you use is to get people from this fight or flight into the rest or digest response. And if you ask me, I would say that's the purpose of creation of human beings, to live forever happily in just that rest or digest response, because that's where the creation happens, that's where the peace is, that's where, all these philosophical, ancient philosophy that you see, they all are promoting that rest or digest response. Nobody is promoting that stress response.
No, we're only promoting it in the acute situation when there's a real emergency. But most of the
Exactly.
time, no real emergencies happening, right? Our brains just thinks there is, but no, there isn't a real one. Okay, wow, that was a lot of really awesome information. I'm sure a lot of people listening did not know about the extent that our gut is involved with respect to stress and all the amazing things it does. People think that it's just related to digestion and, going to the bathroom and all of that, but there's a whole world. There's a whole world in our gut. There's a whole world going on down there. It's trying to protect us, immune response, our digestion, all the
Mhm.
things you mentioned. Yeah. And then, of course, our happy hormones. We want lots of that. So I think most of the serotonin is produced in the gut.
Yeah,
Okay.
95, 90, greater than 90%.
Okay. Almost all the serotonin,
Almost,
almost all
yeah.
of our happy hormone is produced in the gut. So we want to keep our gut really happy. Yeah. So we have happy hormones, right?
Mhm.
Wow. Well, what would you like to share with our audience if you just had some takeaway points here? You gave us a lot of really good information. What takeaways, what pearls would you like to share?
Yes. So what I think I would like to share is that, so putting all these things together, learning about gut health, as a gastroenterologist, learning about gut microbiome, and then learning about mental fitness as a life coach. I think what I figured is that, the health overall, us being healthy. I think a lot of us, they're always after being healthy, a healthy lifestyle. What I realized is that, being healthy is not all about going to the gym and working out. a lot of us, we think really if we want to be healthy, it's all about going and running, going to the gym, working out 24/7. I don't say that's not important. That's very important. I work out and I promote working out and physical activity. But I think we forget about two other major arms, major muscles to fitness and wellness. And I would say they are mental fitness and gut health. And what I would like to leave the audience with and is just basically, if you want really to be healthy, you have to think about your mental fitness. You have to care about your gut health. And you cannot be healthy if you're really not working on these two major muscles of fitness.
Yeah, absolutely. People don't think about mental fitness and gut fitness when they're thinking about fitness,
Mm-hmm.
right? They just think about
Exactly.
their physical fitness. So those are great pearls. So understand that you have a webinar coming up where you're going to be even talking even more about this stuff. So can you share with us a little bit about that? What's it called? When is it? How can people find out about it?
Yeah, for sure. So yes, my webinar is coming up. It's going to be in December, and I'm going to go through all these concepts that we touched on today. I'm going to open up everything in more details: the gut-brain connection, the stress response, the effect of chronic stress on our health, and gut microbiome, and how we can really say goodbye to stress, and how we can really become healthy in a sense that we have a healthy gut, healthy mind, and healthy body. For audience who are interested, they can visit my website, and there is a link that I have for registration for the webinar or free training. My website is www.mindgutfitmd.com/transform. And over there, you see that there is a box you can add your name and your email, and I'm going to send an email as soon as the date of the webinar is confirmed. And my Instagram also, if anybody is interested, is MindGutFitMD, and I share all my knowledge about gut health and mental fitness and physical fitness.
Great. And your podcast, right? So anybody who's listening that speaks Farsi, your podcast is called Let's Clean House. Yeah.
Right. Yes, my podcast is very niche for Farsi speaking folks. So hopefully I start my English podcast soon.
Okay, well, thanks for all that wonderful information. And I will put all of those links in the show notes for anyone who wants to reach out to you, to join your webinar, to learn more about you, to follow you on Instagram, and all the good stuff. Okay.
Thanks so much, Robin. It was a pleasure. It's always great chatting with you.
The pleasure is mine. Okay, so thank you so much, everyone, for listening. Thank you so much for taking time to take care of amazing you. Remember to be kind to one another and be kind to yourself. And I look forward to connecting with you on the next episode of the Stress Free MD podcast.